It's good morning, Coleen Clare. Thanks for joining us at Yellow Shelf.
Good morning, Joanna. Lovely to be here.
Super excited, Colleen. Your book is, well, it's pre-order ready now and it's out in a few weeks. Your book, Minoan Footsteps. Congratulations. Colleen, tell us all about your book.
Well, the title, Minoan Footsteps, is a little cryptic, except for those who know about Crete and the civilization there that was matriarchal and was peaceful. And because of that, many women go to Crete to go to Knossos, which is the site of the big temple, to have a look at the ruins that are left there and other sites across Crete where women lived peacefully. And I did one of those tours with a group of 19 women, and I found it so exciting. It was such fun, and it made me feel very creative. So I started the book. And
Yeah.
then people said to me, "Oh, a lot of people have written about that tour to Crete, to Minoan civilization." And I thought, oh, I better make it a bit more interesting. So my six women ended up in a mystery. And that's what makes the book an exciting read because you have the tour to Crete and exploring the civilization, and then you have a mystery.
You do. And it's definitely intriguing. I feel like there's a lot of complex characters and friendships. I really enjoyed it, Colleen, I think. And
Oh,
I
good.
learned a lot. I didn't know a lot about the civilization, so I actually learned a lot from the book.
Oh, that's good. And I love the woman. It was funny when I was writing it, I guess I was caught up in the process. But now that the book's finished, I often think about those six women. And of course, people say to me, "Well, who's this one and who's that one?" And I said, "No,
Yeah,
I think
it's
they're
a
a
novel.
mixture of
Yeah.
all the women I've ever known, and they're fiction."
Yeah, yeah. And Colleen, I'd love to tell you, sorry, I'd like you to tell the audience, tell us what inspired you to write the book. Was it your travels there? And tell us about like the process of writing.
Look, I've had a very busy life. I've got a very large family. I have great granddaughters who are nearly 15, and I've had a full career. So I haven't had much time. And I think people have always said that, I was good with words or to shut up, depending on your point of view. And I think when I got older, I thought, oh my God, I've got time. I never had time for so long. What do I want to do with it? And I'm not particularly mobile. So I started writing. And then it was this trip that I realized, oh, I've actually written a book. I might as well do something with it. And I sent it off to publishers. And you didn't mention, but I'll mention I'm 80. So it felt good to be doing something new at this age. And I'm loving it.
Yeah. And look, I would never mention your age, but I'm so glad you did because truly, people, it just demonstrates you're never too old to write. You're never too old with ideas. And yeah, you have led, I was reading about you, Colleen, you've led this very distinguished life, professional, lived in other countries, worked with a lot of cultures. And yeah, now is your time to be an author. It's a fabulous backstory.
It is, and it's such a comforting process because you're answerable to nobody. There's just you and the pen or the computer, and you can let your mind go wherever it will. And if you don't like it, you can scrap it or you can keep going. And as I say, I think the biggest thing has been the joy of it. But then, actually, I have to show you.
Yeah.
There it is. Is that the right?
It's a great cover. It's a
To
great
end up
cover.
with a book was
Hmm.
it was pretty exciting.
It is very exciting, and I'm so glad you mentioned your age because you actually don't even look your age, but it's just, yeah, it's a compliment to you and just, getting on with it and backing yourself no matter what the age. And I think you'll inspire many others just to hear this
Thank you.
story.
I'm proud to be 80. I think you get a lot of grey hairs because you do a lot of things, and yeah, that's good. It feels good
Yeah.
to be 80.
Fabulous. Well, I'm gonna be cheeky and ask, would you keep writing? Like, has this inspired? Is there more stories? Are you thinking like where are you at the moment?
Yes, I am. The funny thing is that I played with this book for 10 years. So, now that I'm 80, I've got to lift the pace a bit. But when I was going through my computer, I was surprised to find that I had almost a book of poetry. So I think
Yeah.
I had been writing scraps of poetry all through my life,
Yes.
and I hadn't really noticed. So I'll gather that together. And I've also got a yen. It sounds a funny topic, but at my age, there are people around me who are starting to enter dementia, and they're very lovely and very funny and very warm. And I want to write a book about somebody who's experiencing dementia, but she's going to be very quirky and strong and wonderful.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Mm.
Colleen, tell us if we're watching this interview anywhere around the world, how do we either get in contact with you or the publisher and the book? So point us in the direction. I can put some links in the show notes as to where we can get the book. But yeah,
Yes.
how do we connect?
The publisher is Spinifex. That's Spinifex, which is the wild grass that grows across Australia. And they are an independent feminist
Yeah.
press. So by buying my book, you're also supporting a press that is unique, and they publish amazing titles that probably nobody else would. And
Yeah.
then also some lighter fiction like my book, although I'm glad you learnt something from it. And on pre-order, it's slightly cheaper than when it's on full release on June 16. So Spinifex Press.
No worries. I will put that in the show notes so people can head in that direction and check it out. Colleen, I know the book's officially launched in a couple of weeks. My advice is enjoy that process. That's a very exciting time as a first time author. And yeah, embrace releasing a book and the journey and the interviews and the conversations you have. But I would love to get you back in the future if there's more books.
Oh, thank you, Joanna. That's lovely. I've really been delighted to talk to you, and best wishes to all your readers. They've got plenty of time to be writing,
That's exactly right.
reading.
What a perfect ending note. Thanks so much for joining us, Colleen. All the best.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers.